If you like this channel and what I do here, please help to support my work by checking out one of my books, available from Lulu Publishing and Amazon.com. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome to Electric Media Madness. Carl James here, joined by Dan Ryan. How you doing, mate?
Dead.
Sedation day.
Drained. I actually feel like I've had a
day.
fucking horse tranquilizer.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Episode 10, Terra Firma Part 2. This is probably going to be quite a short video, actually. There's not really a lot to say. It's the plot is, there's very little to it. Giorgio is in the mirror universe back in the past, trying to save Michael Burnham's soul, which she thinks she has done. They talked for her for a while and she seems to break. But as we said right at the beginning of the episode, it was pretty obvious that it hadn't worked. She was just conning her, so she betrays her at the end. But as that moment happens, when she betrays her and all the rest of it, Giorgio is brought back to the present through that door thing. She's still sort of dying and doing the spiky thing on her head. And it's revealed that, and I think I called this in the last video, I think I said something along those lines, didn't I? Where I said I wouldn't put it past them to all of a sudden the man and the doorway morph. And he goes, I am the guardian of forever. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened in this episode. And he says, you know, you can't stay here in order to live. You need to go to a point in time where the Terran universe and the Prime universe are sort of the most closest together or something like that. We assume that's in the past, but it's never really explained. She says her goodbyes and goes through. And that's it, really. That's it. Oh, and they kind of, for some nonsensical reason that we didn't really understand at all, they pretend that she's dead, even though she's not. But the upshot of this is that she's, well, at least for now, she's not in the show anymore. And although I've never been that big of a fan of the character, I did think that stuff that was going on with her character this season was probably the most interesting. And I'm damning that with faint praise because it's not really that interesting. At least it had a slight glimmer of interest to it, whereas the rest of the show has none. So now that's gone. Is it even worth watching? And looking at the preview for next week,
Don't even think it was fucking worth watching in the first place. I swear the only people who can enjoy this episode are actually mindless buffoons. Honestly, it was just fucking terrible. There's actually zero quality in this. Everyone on the show is a fucking idiot. And I guess the only way you could relate to these characters is if you're also a fucking idiot. So, yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Basically, yeah. Again, it's complete nonsensical in terms of story. There would have been a time many, many years ago before Kurtzman and JJ came along and trounced Star Trek that I would have been like, well, a lot of fans would have been fist punching the air. Yeah, the Guardian of Forever. And it was like, yeah. Because, I mean, in my mind, it's Star Trek, it doesn't, whatever it is now is not Star Trek. Star Trek good Star Trek ended when Enterprise ended, in my opinion, back in 2005, so everything that's come and gone since is just trying to masquerade. It's a piss poor cosplay version of Star Trek that's, a cosplayer that's not even a fan, just some model that they've paid to come and put the costume on for a convention or something like that, for a Comic-Con type thing.
What this show is the fucking propaganda on the screen in Sleeper. That's what this show is.
Yes, it exactly is. Yeah, what is. Yeah. This video will go out before we put our review out for the film Sleeper. That is coming. We recorded one yesterday, a review for Sleeper, the Woody Allen film. But you're absolutely right. The propaganda on the film is in that film on the telescreens and all that. This is what Discovery is.
Yeah.
It's propaganda for disingenuous identity politics. They don't believe in anything that they're doing. People masquerading as understanding the past of great fiction on television, Star Trek being one of them. They'd have no idea. They don't care about it either. They're just totally just dismantling it. And that's also part of the political agenda, destroying the past to create this new great future in current day, It doesn't work.
North
Doesn't
Korea's
work.
a lovely place, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything good you can say to that, really. But yeah, I just don't. I don't even know what to think anymore with it. And another thing that both you and I, it's such a soul destroying thing when you. Well, it's not even soul destroying because I've come to terms with the fact that it doesn't even affect my soul anymore. I can watch the old Star Trek and not be affected by it. But so, in a nutshell, my "They Live" T-shirt, which was put on purely by coincidence today, is apt, obey and conform, consume, and stay asleep. Which is what happened to us when we watched this. We stayed asleep.
I did almost fall asleep like 15 minutes in, and I was fighting to stay awake.
It was like a sedative. It was like you say, it was like a horse tranquilizer, wasn't it?
So Michael Burnham gets stabbed in the Terran universe, unfortunately, not the real one.
By Giorgio.
Yeah. And I don't even know what they did. Like, she stabs, and then the sword sort of like, if that's her back, like the sword goes in, and then there's like a second before it comes out the back. And then, when it comes out, this like really shitty like Microsoft Paint looking blood, just like goes
splattered.
Out the back.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It was terrible, wasn't it? Terrible bit of effects work. Yeah, and she got stabbed in the neck or something like that, and she seemed to be perfectly fine.
They're like, fine. Oh, you can die there if you're not careful. She literally does die there, and he's like, haha, just kidding, you're out.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah. When she comes back, that's another thing as well. Is we said that, like we say, there's really not a lot to say, but again, it reminds me of the end of season 2, where they're just like lying about people being dead or existing or not existing and blah blah blah. And they've done the same thing here again. We could not fathom for the life of us how. Unless it got something to do with temporal edicts or something like that, messing with time. I don't know, but it wasn't really mentioned, was it? Nothing was mentioned about it. She just like says to Saru says, "Oh, so she's dead, she's deceased or something like that," and she's just like, and Saru's like, "So she's deceased," and then they all get together in the mess hall and have drinks about her and say all these really disingenuous things about her. And so one thing about her, what was it? Was it Detmer or I can't remember it was who even said it, said one thing about her is she always told the truth. No, she fucking didn't. She was always,
she had like a front that she'd, instead of actually expressing her opinion, she's just like, I'll fucking kill you. How is that honesty? If that's honesty, what is wrong with these people? Like, they need a diagnosis of something, because Jesus.
Yeah. Well, they don't understand honesty. The writers and the producers on this show, they don't understand honesty at all. They don't understand genuineness, to stand by the convictions of what you believe in, the story or the politics, for example. They don't believe in that either. There's this all, disingenuous. But story, they're not true to the convictions of their story either. And you can see that here. There would have been a time, as I say, when the Guardian of Forever being in Star Trek would have been a yay moment. Visiting the mirror universe again would have been a yay moment. It's all just like, there's nothing here. This episode is just Mikey Spock pulling faces in the mirror universe. You said as well about Sonequa Martin Green's acting.
It's terrible.
Didn't you? What was it you said?
Awful.
Because you said about how in the past she's been, she's done some good stuff on that, but
I know, but
it's not on display.
It's hard. Is it? It's fucking hard to believe after like this episode, because she just wasn't good in it. Nor the last one, but she was worse in this one.
Yeah, and I got the feeling that Michelle Yeoh was phoning it in for this one. I mean, if she is out now, then maybe that's not such a bad thing for her as an actress. She hung in there a lot longer than most people would in these self-destructive, narcissistic situations. Yeah,
I imagine really they must have paid her well enough to stay.
I'd imagine she was well paid for her time. But is she going to be back again? Who knows? She probably will be back. People have talked about whether this is a setup for, it was inevitable that eventually she was going to leave the show so she could do the Section 31 crap. I mean, that's about as dead could be, that show is, but they still keep banging it, don't they, as a drum?
Maybe, yeah, they've said it's still going to be made.
I don't know, and I don't.
No fucker wants it. But...
No. Well, apart from the Twitterati, we're hanging in there for the end because we've as I've said before, It's demonstrating. I don't know how much more we can do to demonstrate what they're doing, the disingenuous virtue signaling, identity politics, the way they're determined to destroy the canon of what Star Trek's past was. But you don't even need to say. All people have to do is just sit and watch it. But then maybe they don't want to watch it, so they watch YouTubers talking about it instead, so they spared the misery and the boredom and all the rest of it of watching it. But we are going to see it out to the end of this season. How that will stand after that, who knows? I mean, I don't know how much more of this. It's not. I don't want to watch it. Yeah, I really don't.
I really don't.
So I don't. Should we rate it?
0. Just
0.
Just 0.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. Like, actually abysmal.
It's 0, isn't
this
it?
is the worst, most fucking brain dead, boring episode I've ever seen in my life of any TV show.
It really was. They had so many opportunities here to do. They could have done so many good things here. I mean, the Guardian of Forever, for Christ's sake, the Terran universe, the Mirror Universe. These would have been great things back in the day. I mean, the Mirror Universe did kind of whittle out a little bit as it got overused, but yeah. But then nothing at all. So I think we'll leave it there for now then. All I'll say is thank you for watching this video, such as it is. Thank you for joining us. And please like, share, subscribe if you can. And Dan and I will see you again very, very soon. Take care for now.
Enjoy our suffering next week.